TV gossip, and of course, Jeff Lewis Live. I hope you're having an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me live. I promise you it's way more fun. If you are new, welcome. Get comfortable in comments. I'm live on YouTube, shout out, and I'm live on Instagram. The replay goes up immediately. We'd love to hear your questions. I want to hear what you think. Chat amongst yourselves. This is our safe space for all of our amazing chumpecks, so welcome. Let's get started with shout out news. Oh my gosh. Okay, the Bethany. Are we done with it? I tried to listen to her latest rant. It's Just Be on wherever you get your podcast. My thing started like going around in circles after a few minutes. It's almost like after I made a story, it was like 20 minutes later, so more people woke up and started listening to it. I don't know, but she basically starts off with like, if you're going to talk about this, then I'm going to talk about it more and just make more money. What if you heard that I actually make more money now than I did on Bravo? I mean, duh, like we know this, Bethany. I've been a fan of yours since day one. I loved you baking your little baked goods and your cookies and sell them in the local grocery market. I was there for you. You're losing me with the Bethany YouTube of it all. You're losing me with how you're just so. Last week when I made a comment on one thing and she commented it back to me, and I said that she said me and Rachel and I are very happy with being number one in this podcast. So I commented and said, but is Rachel happy financially? And Bethany commented back and said, yep. Hold on, what did she say? Yep, stay tuned. So I thought, okay, we're going to hear something. No, all she did was start saying, everyone wants to know what I paid her. We're not going to talk about it. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I mean, she's just feeding into it. And I keep watching. So I don't even want to call it hate listening. Tell me in comments, are you hate watching people? Is anyone hate watching me right now? Shout out, lovers. I'm sure you are, especially with everything going on. Have you seen the Bethany blind? No, tell me about it. Let me know for sure. So I don't know. She does go into details of the rumor that was going around like, hey, she was just trying to pitch her own reality TV show to Bravo recently. So she does admit that. She didn't say where it went or anything. Bethany is so good at putting herself in the best light, right? Like I would be so terrible at that. I am so honest. Like I am not really good for social media and this whole fan account world because I'm just too brutally honest, right? Ask me a question, I'm going to tell you pretty much. But Bethany loves to put herself in the best light, which is probably really how she's been so successful. But she says she had her own reality show. She pitched it to Bravo about moving, I guess, probably to the Hamptons. And then she decided she didn't want to do it anymore. It sounds like she wanted to do her own thing. But trust me, y'all, if you have seen my reviews of her Bethany YouTube show, they're under Instagram and YouTube and my TikTok. Y'all, it's so chaotic. It's so weird. It's the same subjects every week, literally. It is luggage reviews. It is chaotic. It is shopping at Walgreens for makeup. It is going to the Dollar Tree. And then every week she picks some charitable chain restaurant to grace herself upon and order 17 things that based on results she's eating half a bite of, right? Same thing every week. So her reality show doesn't look like a reality show. Now what's going for it, and I really do, they're usually like 8 to 13 minutes. So I love that they're fast and all that. I want to be in and out with Bethany for sure. But the way that she's putting money into that and spending her time on it, she needs a better producer. She needs someone like me. She needs to watch my reviews because I've been honest, but given her some constructive criticism also. Those reviews are making her 75,000 when posted. Yeah, but the thing is, when she first started, that's a whole other situation. The makeup reviews is she was like, I'm not going to accept free makeup. I don't want to be affected. Like if somebody sends me something for free, I'm gonna be like, oh, these are the best jeans ever. If I have to go and buy my own $115 jeans, I'm gonna be like, they could fit better. The button is kind of, I'm gonna critique it a lot more than if something was sent to me for free. So she didn't want that interference, which I respected. This is another thing on her show every week. She shows all the boxes of stuff that she gets. I mean, it's just so, I guess if you're like me, you knew Bethany. I think she grew up with some money or something. She definitely talks about her dad being in gambling and horse racing. I think they had in and out money, basically. I don't think he spent it well. She is really good with money. I just don't understand. She's just changed. I don't think she's relatable anymore, which I don't know. I mean, maybe you get that rich and you're just not relatable anymore. I think you can still be likable. And I think that is what she's losing. So let me know in comments if you feel like Bethany has lost her likability. Because no matter, a lot of these celebrities are rich. A lot of them are gorgeous. A lot of them are famous. If we relate to them, that's what we like about him, right? Yeah, he was a horse trainer. Views is all she cares about. No one's feedback, nothing, just views. And she keeps blocking people. So she blocked me on TikTok. She hasn't yet blocked me on Instagram. So I don't understand that. My name is Jeff Lewis Obsessed on all my social media. Clearly, we know she, in December, had an issue with Jeff Lewis in at Watch What Happens Live. So if she blocks me for whatever reason, I would just think she'd block me everywhere because she is on Instagram and TikTok, right? And YouTube, obviously. Anyways, I don't understand it, but whatevs. I couldn't finish listening to it. It was a 15-minute rant, had 5 minutes of ads, right? 5 minutes. So luckily I could fast forward those, but it just became that little circle and I couldn't even listen to the podcast anymore. So I couldn't finish it. And then BravoCon VIP Watch What Happens Live tickets came up for me at 11 a.m. my time. I didn't get the Friday evening one that my friend and I wanted. We got Sunday at 6 p.m. So shout out. I will be very excited to be there. They were way more pricey than they were in 2022 and way harder to get, right? Let me think. I think 2 tickets after all the fees were $617. And I don't even think I got Central Orchestra. I don't even know what I got. You were just so happy to get anything. So, but it was $617 for 2 tickets. Just Watch What Happens Live. That's way more than they were last year. I want to say 150 each. So double the price. That's crazy. That's crazy. Don't let me think about it. Anyways. Okay. Heather McDonald's juicy scoop today. She did have Brandy and Julie on. We now know after I watched it, I did review it. So if you haven't had time to watch it, watch my review on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. She definitely recorded it after Jeff Lewis Live. Okay. We know at the very end of this, I've already talked about it. Jeff gave her permission to go and interview them, talk to them. But if they say anything I don't agree with, I'm going to come back on and say something. So it really wasn't, even though it was titled like Brandy and Julie Tell All, it really wasn't. I mean, I've seen the word clickbait thrown at me in my DMs, in the comments. So I see that. I mean, I see Heather's game, right? I've even been told that to up my views, I need to get more salacious. I need to like have these clickbaity titles and stuff. That's just not me. I'm just too practical. I'm too honest. I wouldn't call 5 minutes of an hour and 33-minute podcast a tell-all, right? To me, a tell-all is the exact hour and 33 minutes of it all, and it wasn't. So anyways, I felt like she was very fair to Julie and Brandy. Julie and Brandy, I already recapped this, so I'm not going to go into too much of it, but they came out at definitely defending themselves. They were definitely saying there's some things that, maybe have been said that they don't agree with. They also said at the very end of it, Julie said something like, with our own Patreon, with our own dumb gay politics, that we're free to be ourselves. So I truly think that maybe both sides, Jeff and Brandy and Julie, like Heather brought up yesterday, which was brilliant in my opinion, maybe it just wasn't a good fit. The after show just wasn't a good fit. They should maybe have their own show. I don't think that's going to happen at Siriusxm. Maybe it could happen somewhere else. Julie also, or maybe Brandy, made it clear that when Jeff was saying they're not allowed in the Siriusxm building, they would have to be snuck in and all that stuff. They said, no, that's not true. We have already been invited by other shows to come on Siriusxm. So that was interesting. I don't know if they mean as guest, co-host. I don't know what that meant. They didn't really elaborate. I thought it was very fair. I could see a reunion between Jeff and Brandy and Julie at the end of the day. Not today, but at the end of the day, eventually. Yes. Amy says, I was glad that Julie and Brandy told the truth. My vote is for Sarah from Texas to do the after show. Oh my gosh, thank you. Did you just buy I think you just bought a superstar. Thank you so much on YouTube. And thank you for everyone that buys badges on Instagram. I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. You can't see the YouTube. I watched Juicy Scoop on YouTube. Very interesting that they said they'd been invited by others. I think it's very similar to the whole Megan and Heather thing. When somebody tells you no one likes you, I don't like you, the chumps don't like you, you're instantly going to talk about everything that is going on for you, that is going on good for you, right? One thing Heather McDonald is not talking about that I was sort of hoping she would talk about is this whole Justin Martindale, I would say rumor, but it's not even a rumor anymore, because on Tuesday, Justin, I've already made a video of this, so I won't go into it too deep. Justin, and I posted the actual 90-second clip of what he said in the Jeff Lewis Obsessed Facebook group, so it's in there somewhere. But he is on with John Hill, and at the very end, somebody DMs John Hill and asks him, hey, what's going on with this? Is he going to be on in live with Heather McDonald soon? And he's like, nope, there was a misunderstanding. We haven't talked. I don't know that we will talk. So I really wish he and Heather would work things out, because I think that they had a friendship. They also had a professional relationship with him coming on Juicy Scoop. Obviously, he did some live shows with her. And the fact that she's not saying anything, to me, what have I said, y'all? Say it with me. Silence is so loud. That's why when shit gets real with me with the lovers, I end up saying things and going off and getting a little bit feisty, because I'm not silent. When things are said about me that are not true or insanely exaggerated or misrepresented, I'm going to speak the truth eventually. And also, I always have the receipts. So all of you losers that keep, screenshotting my DMs with you and posting them publicly, I can post the same DMs. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. I have a copy of those same DMs, and I'm very proud of what I've said and all that. Jadanico says he was scheduled to do shows with her last weekend, and she replaced him with a female comedian. Well, the first one was that whole thing over 4th of July, or right before 4th of July, right? And she just instantly had him off her next Juicy Scoop where he was supposed to be on, and then instantly replaced him with Chris Frangero. No, I'm saying it wrong. Oh my God. Frangiola. Oh my gosh. So many names in my brain. And just never said a word about it. So, she is in control. She's the admin of Juicy Scoop Obsessed Facebook group. I have been told by other people that they have made posts, and the posts have not been approved to be talked about on there. So anyways. Oh, Heather talked about Justin in her Patreon, but she was very vague and didn't even mention his name. So speaking of that, Annie, who used to be her producer, right, seemed to have left kind of abruptly. There was no party. There was no, this is what she's going to do. It was kind of awkward, if you ask me. So somebody sent me, shout out M, sent me a link to Annie and her friend's new podcast. I forget what it's called, Content Creative or something like that. Anyways, I listened to the first episode when I was in the sauna the other day. She very clearly talks about, I used to be a producer of a very popular podcast. I used to run her social media. She doesn't mention her name at all. So tell me what you think. Do you feel like if they left on good terms, if she would have said, oh, I used to be on Juicy Scoop and I produced that show for Heather, and that I got this opportunity to do this podcast with you, so I wanted to do it. Like, I feel like, again, when you don't talk about something, you're just trying to sweep it under the rug. You know what I mean? So somebody says Heather McDonald's getting much better at handling PR issues. Is it better? I mean, I guess I can see where if you just ignore it, if she doesn't say anything, then nobody can argue if they liked what she said or didn't like what she said, right? Whereas with what Justin said, he made no bones about it. Look, I didn't like how this went down. Naima says, Annie and Heather parted ways under poor circumstances, I reckon. And this happens, right? I mean, clearly it's happened with Jeff and Brandy and Julie lately. So I don't know. Heather didn't give Annie her dues at all. words for this. I remember Heather addressing it. Heather did talk about Annie, that she got an opportunity and supported her. I mean, no, I heard that part, but that's just pretty basic, right? There was no, I don't know. It just felt like it could have been more. I feel like when you're in a position to produce a podcast and run someone's social media, you're like their secondhand person. You're with them all the time. So there's just a different situation with that, right? You feel like she signed an NDA and can't talk about it. People move on for a reason. Well, and definitely people move on for professional reasons, money reasons, personal reasons, all of that kind of stuff. If you outgrow something or whatever, I just felt like the lack of saying anything on both sides seemed a little sus to me, if you will. Another thing that I wonder is, Heather, did y'all catch this yesterday? She said a couple of things. She even commented on my Instagram reel that she when she was talking about the whole Taylor Swift things and like girls are going to go to school and be bullied for it. She said, I was trying to make a joke about that. It didn't land. Not everything lands. Totally understand that. I feel like she said a couple of things yesterday out of nerves and it didn't really land. And, not everything's always going to be 100%, right? But when she was mentioning something about the Jill, and I've talked about this recently, how I felt like Bethany completely took advantage of Jill, fucked her over completely, whether she was paid or not. I just didn't like how she made like 3 or 4 or 5 podcasts about Jill Zarin. And then at the very end of one was like, yeah, we're not going to be friends. We're not going to go to lunch. Don't invite me to stuff. That weekend was this big annual charity that Jill Zarin had, that Chef Stu was at, all these reality TV stars were at, and housewives. Bethany has a house, maybe even lives full-time in the Hamptons or Connecticut. I can't even keep up with her because it's so chaotic. She wasn't there. And I feel like if they were on good terms and ended that podcast well, that she would have been there to support her, because it's a fundraiser that's like in Bobby's memory from him passing away from cancer, right? So anyways, but Heather and Jill just spent a weekend together or some days together in the Hamptons. So they're friends, okay? Heather said something yesterday when defending like the whole girl drama and how girls get their feelings hurt, which is so effing true. But she said something like, it's just like when Heather invited Jill when Bethany invited Jill Zarin to come on her podcast and was all nice, like, oh, it's going to be a sleepover. And then she was immediately the next day like, oh, but don't invite me to this. We're not going to hang out. We're not going to be friends. Don't get too excited, Bethany. Don't get too excited, Jill. Right? So I feel like even though Jill hasn't said anything, she's just rising above the waters. I personally didn't like how it came off with Jill. If Jill is okay with that, then great. I like Jill. I love the rapport she has with Jeff Lewis. I love the friendship that she has with Chef Stu. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like when she was grading her jobs, like her businesses that she's had. Like, Bethany, you've had so many shows get canceled, okay? So why are you grading Jill's businesses? Didn't like it. Seemed harsh. Blech. Didn't like it. Okay, that is it with that. Let's get into the Jeff Lewis Live, and the after show is Pej Vahdat and Pej Vahdat and Paige Davis. Oh my gosh, the PPs of the world. It's going to be crazy, right? Yes, Heather is America's house guest. Oh my God, I love that. But wasn't it sweet when they were talking yesterday? They were totally promoting, just like Jeff and all the chumps do, promoting how beautiful their friend Kelly Dodd's house is, and renting it out and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was good. Okay, tell me in comments, is there a chance for Pej and Paige? I sort of don't think there is. Based on the facts of the ages of the guys, I think she wants someone much older and maybe someone with more money. He admits that he rents his, whatever it is, apartment, condo, house, whatever he rents. So I feel like Paige is not looking into the renter world. She's looking into the owner world, which I respect. No, y'all know that I've met Paige. Did I meet her 2 different weekends? I definitely met her at the Amazon launch party last summer. She was amazing. And then I met her, I think that July I flew out there and hung out with a friend at the time. And we went to where she works, and she hung out with us while she was working. It was so fun. I think she's a lot for him. Yeah. Oh, how did Paige meet Jeff? I think she was a cocktail waitress at the Tower. What's it called? Sun Tower? I'm wrong. Whatever it is. The place that he engaged used to go to a lot. And now she works somewhere else. A really nice, very nice restaurant, bar type atmosphere. Pej has been wait, what? Pej has been an over-decade relationship with a scientist, very serious relationship. Wait, why is he not saying he's in a relationship then? Pej has been in a relationship for 10 years and he talks like he's single? Ooh, Monica. Okay, that's another question I have. I feel like I'm so confused on Monica and her ex, George. They share their daughter together. So even Jeff asked, do you have, oh my God, what's her daughter's name? Not Alice. Y'all help me out. My brain is going blank today. Trying to pack for Las Vegas tomorrow. Thank you, Hamilton. Anyways, but she was talking, they're divorced. She has a podcast called Divorce Party. But there's been some things she says, and I think George was like at Christmas Eve with them. But I feel like today Jeff said, hey, are you going to have Dylan tonight? And she's like, oh, I don't know. So it sounds like she and George definitely share custody of Dylan. But then she was talking about the snoring that he does. Well, they've been divorced for a long time. I feel like they might be like friends with benefits situation. You think they're like a John Jansen and Shannon Bedore of it all? I don't know. Oh, you think they're exes with benefits? I mean, Monica definitely talks about being on the apps. I think she's definitely talked about trying to date. I don't know. Very interesting. Yeah, they have a great co-parenting relationship, which is good, right? Also, tell me in compliments. I was reading your thing, Chris. What did you think of Chef Stu and Monica on the after show? I, of course, love them both. Have met them multiple times. I felt like they really meshed. Like I said, I want someone on the after show that's either really good friends or family with Jeff, or someone that listens to the show all the time like Pej does. Pej knows all the inside jokes. He literally listens to Jeff Lewis live, right? Oh, you wouldn't be surprised if they end up back together. Do you know how many friends I've known that have either divorced and remarried? Do y'all have that experience with people? I think I've never been through a divorce. I've never been separated, none of that kind of stuff. So I think it's so bizarre to go through such an extreme decision and an expensive and emotional decision like a divorce. And then people end up getting married again. And then sometimes I've had friends divorce a second time. Wow. Life is fun, right? Okay. So they talk about the slow ghosting. She tells us stories about this 60-year-old guy, but she outs him. She says that he's like a alcohol, what do you call it? Like a counselor, like a support person or whatever, a motivational speaker. I mean, anyone could some of you sleuths are probably digging through who Paige follows right now, trying to figure out who this guy is, right? And she basically slams him and says, I hope you're better in your professional life than you are in your personal life. I kind of love that. Oh, I love that, Jadanica. I also like that Jeff seems to be supportive of Stu. It's refreshing. He's very supportive of Stu. Definitely together. Definitely sleeping in the same bed. Sober companion. Yes, Christina. Definitely, Stu even had an audio recording. So if you haven't listened to the show yet, tune into the Jeff Lewis after show, on 789, because Stu plays a recording of Jeff snoring. I don't know. I kind of didn't want to hear it. When someone is so hot, you like obsess over them so much, you don't even want to know that kind of stuff. Like, I don't want to know that Jeff farts. I don't want to know that he poops. I don't even want to know it, right? I didn't want to hear him snoring because I think snoring is just a boner killer, right? Like, I feel like you're only 53. You're so hot. You're so skinny, so young and so fresh. I don't want to hear the snoring. I didn't want to hear it. That was great. Oh, you loved it? Oh, I didn't love it. Oh, Sarah says, I hope they make it to the Ireland trip. That's supposed to happen, December? For one of Stu's brothers' weddings, right? Who knows? We learned Stu retreats to the second bedroom. Had y'all ever heard the term divorce, sleep? What they call it? Bedroom divorce? Sleep divorce? I'd never heard that term. I will tell you, over the summer, I came upstairs 2 nights and slept in a bedroom because my husband was snoring so bad. I think it hurt his feelings. So I just live with it. And I can sleep through anything, but everybody says, "Oh, get earmuffs." I don't want to I don't want to do that. I think that would muffle it a little bit, but you know, I think it hurt his feelings. I agree with Jeff. I know of a lot of people that successfully are married, happily married, that choose to live in other bedrooms for various reasons, snoring, their own space, privacy, everything, and that works for them. But I think it hurt my marriage. So, or not. I just read your comment. I snore after 30 years of marriage. I don't know, or I don't care. You said. Yes, I will have to stalk them if they come to Ireland. Oh my God. Sleep divorce. It's real. Oh my God. I'd literally never heard that term today. Yeah. Okay, what did y'all think of the Oscar? I thought Jeff should have done that off air. I think I love Oscar so much. Yes, K-Dog, it hurt my husband's feelings when I did the same thing. Yeah. And sometimes you just got to suck things up for marriage, right? I mean, I don't want to hurt my feelings. My husband doesn't, nobody snores on purpose, right? He's not trying to do that. Oh, thank you, Krista. Hit the like button. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Please comment on my videos. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you're following me and subscribing to me. Thank you. So Oscar kind of got the brunt, kind of got the blame for that super mean caller. Do you think that caller is ever going to admit on a Facebook group or Instagram comment like who it was? Like, I'm sort of dying. Like, I think they probably thought it would go over well because Jeff would like the meanness. I don't think he did at all. I think it was super uncomfortable for him. Even though they came at it afterwards with a nice comment, I think it was done. I did watch the video. If you haven't watched the video of Heather and Jeff, it was so much better than just listening to it, I must tell you. The commercial breaks weren't anything interesting. It was Heather on her phone and Jeff on his phone. I think they were both like checking social media, checking the temperature of how everything was going, right? But this Oscar thing, he basically tells them, look, you're a terrible screen caller. You've been typing in the names wrong, typing in the cities. Then I am telling someone the names he's been getting wrong. Anyone can. Marianne can be Miriam. I mean, hearing someone talk without asking them how to spell their name, but it's also a name, the ones he's messed up on, I feel like, are names that aren't like Sarah or Judy or Brandy. I mean, names that are easy when typed out. So I don't know. Jeff made it very clear, though, that all it said on was she's really mad. So he assumed she was mad at him and not. I definitely think he and Heather. So now I wonder, though, who's this third volcano? If we thought Brandy and Julie are two of them, which he made pretty clear that it is, the third one I said is either Heather McDonald or Megan Weaver. And the reason I say Megan Weaver, even though Jeff said, no, we're not having an out, so many of us have heard and sensed a little off with them lately, right? Especially about Megan's birthday party and not inviting everyone. And I think Jeff even brought that up yesterday. I'm inclusive. I like to over-invite. I like to mix my friends. I don't like when people don't do that. He was definitely talking about Megan. But he also very clearly stood up for Megan while also saying he didn't like the behavior. He didn't like what he says. Patrick said the coffee grounds are never wrong. And Alyssa recently said, I think on an after show, that her coffee ground reading was super accurate and it wasn't even good news. So like, even though it was accurate, she didn't love hearing it because it wasn't good news, right? It's strange Megan hasn't been on in 2 weeks. She's definitely been on within 2 weeks, but she's also about to go on a super big vacation with her friend Asia and Kelly Dodd and their spouses. So anyways, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I felt like Oscar had already, I feel like Jameson is probably Oscar's immediate boss, if you want to call it that. I didn't feel like Jeff needed to say that or say it on air. I feel like what he could have said is, I had a talk with Oscar, who screens the calls, and he's going to try to get better about giving me more details. And he could have even defended himself and saying, all it said yesterday was she's really mad. So I assumed I was picking up a caller that was mad at me. And I wasn't doing that to blast Heather. But I think everyone is talking about that on the Instagram comments and the Facebook group. So definitely, and I'm assuming the conversation that Jeff and Heather had as he walked her out to her car. Chris Court said the call wasn't even that bad. It's not as bad as some things. I mean, I see some, y'all, the chumps that tell me how vile the DMs they get, I mean, amazing chumps, super popular, nice chumps, tell me they get vile DMs from fans, Jeff Lewis listeners, other people that come on the show. So we know this happens. I didn't feel it was the worst thing I'd ever heard. I just felt like the timing was just, and it felt like another like gut punch, to Heather. And I don't feel like she needed that again, because I do feel like she handled herself. Yeah, Dolly Girl said, I thought it was just mean. Let me try to check all these. I love your comments. I love that we have our community to chat with each other. It says online that Pej is married, but likes to keep his life private. Are you kidding me? That's so fascinating to me. It says his wife's name is Tamara Taylor. Patty, that's such good information. I understand being private, but I don't think you need to. I don't know. You know what? This is the thing I was going to say about Pej too. He's been on what, 2 or 3 times now? I don't really watch regular TV, y'all. Y'all know I'm obsessed with reality TV. I don't know anything about Bones. Never watched it. So I know that's what he's famous for, right? I don't know anything more about him. It sounds like he must have a job at Siriusxm, and I don't even know what that is. Why is he not promoting that? So someone tell me in comments, does he work at Siriusxm? Does he have a podcast or a radio show? I feel like that's how they saw him walking by and said, oh, he's cute, and then they got him on the show. Yeah, I felt like he was acting single. We are reality TV people. Absolutely, Krista. Okay, now I'm fascinated about that, because he was definitely talking about if Paige, and I think on the after show, Jeff was saying that maybe Paige and Pej could be their first like official chump hookup, besides Jeff and Stu, which, I mean, that was more of a work colleague thing, like how they started dating, well, I take that back. Stu was at the Christmas party, like the COVID of it all Christmas party. So he was kind of becoming an inner circle chump before he and Jeff started dating in Valentine's, right? Kelly said Julie and Brandy said Alyssa doesn't support women. I think if anyone supports women, Alyssa does. That's why that feud, I guess you want to call it, Brandy and Julie against Alyssa, that confused me, because I see them as very similar, right? Yes. Donna Bowling said Brandy and Julie were mean to you. Yeah. Go back and check my stories. I've been chatting about it. I mean, they just called me a bitch and said, I'm obsessed. Go back. Connie Chung, whatever. Oh, Kelly Dodd said that in a Patreon. Okay. Oh, she's chatting about it, huh? Anyways, what else? Y'all want to talk about the housekeeper picketing, the Zoila acting dumb? I don't know. The Jeff Lewis after show, Monica, Casey, and Stuart O'Keefe. There's so much to chat about with. Oh my God, we're going late. I didn't even realize, y'all. Plays the video of Jeff snoring. You were right. Brandy and Julie came for you because you were right. I mean, yeah, when you go and admit on your Dumb Gay Politics podcast that bitch said that I was drunk, and I was, and I'm like, okay, then all I did was report back of what everyone else was saying. As I listened to the podcast, they sounded like they were on something or drunk. That's what I reported. I made it very clear that I didn't listen to the podcast, and I sent people to listen to their podcast. A lot of you spent $1 that you wouldn't have if I wouldn't have made a story about it and talked about it. But I feel like they got a false narrative about what I was saying, and they were super sensitive, which I totally understand, and reacted. again, I don't feel like you should react like that when you just got fired and you're probably trying to get your next gig, right? I don't know. Didn't Jeff say Brandy was drunk? I don't remember that. Stu and Monica had a great chemistry. I love that, Jubby Day King. I felt like they did too, for sure. I can't wait to hear about all about Labor Day weekend in Newport. They do go to Newport a lot. I kind of wonder, do you think he's still paying for Pelican Hill at this point? Do you think he gets a discount? Do you even think he would take a discount? Why is Jeff so anti a discount or doing an ad? Like, he only does very few, right? The Venus CBD commercial, which I thought was stupid. And I didn't love the commercial he did with him and Zoila either. The one about the, what was that? Some kind of video equipment they were selling at Christmas time. Sirius removed all the YouTube shows. Oh, that happens sometimes. That's why somebody DM'd me. Somebody asked me about that. I was busy this morning. That YouTube account that puts up Jeff Lewis's video, I mean, it's really pirating, right? They're just stealing the whole entire video. It's one thing when I come on and talk about something or show a small video clip about it and then talk about it, because SiriusXM is, costs money for sure. But that YouTube one is completely unofficial and it does get taken down eventually, but it makes sense, right? I mean, that person is putting it up and making money on it because they've got like their, Cash App money, send me money type stuff up there. Anyways, who knows? What else? That is it. Y'all, I leave for Las Vegas tomorrow morning. Me and my two friends are flying out from Houston to Las Vegas to stay at the only bed bug free hotel in Las Vegas. Yes, Mandalay Bay has no bed bugs. Don't tell me any differently. Y'all are going to make me itch and gross out. I probably won't do a live show tomorrow. I've done many a live show from a hotel room. So don't get me wrong. If something bad and juicy happens, good and juicy, I should say, I will go live. If I have to change the time, watch my Instagram stories. That's the quickest place for me to throw up information. Okay. So you make sure you're following me on Jeff Lewis Obsessed there and everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook group, Facebook page, everything just under Jeff Lewis Obsessed. And even Threads, whoever's doing that. But anyways, so tomorrow night, I think we're doing the pool. And then tomorrow night, we're eating dinner at Delilah's, which is an amazing restaurant there. And then Saturday, I think, is shopping and hanging out. I'm not sure exactly what we're doing Saturday. And then Saturday night is the concert, Erica Jane concert. And then Sunday morning, we're having brunch at Lavo. It's going to be so fun. So I'll probably mostly post on Instagram and Instagram stories. It's just going to be easier there. So make sure you're following me there. Okay. Tomorrow, a lot going on. Tonight, Cooking Kibitz, 5 o'clock Pacific with Lisa. I love Lisa. She's a chump, y'all. She listens to Jeff Lewis Live. She's just like us. She's a chumpette. She will be on doing this tomato tart, which I love. I'm usually at Body Pump during that, but tonight I have my son's football scrimmage. So this hair is going in a ponytail in just a couple of hours, and I cannot wait to go cheer on my son. So I should be able to listen to Cooking Kibitz, though I think the game will be over by then. Tomorrow is Chef Stu's Instagram Live at 3:30 for his subscribers. This is all Pacific time. 4 o'clock for his regular people. I don't know what he said he was going to cook. Did he say? I don't remember. And then also at 5 o'clock Pacific is Chump Happy Hour with Zach Noe Towers and Paige Davis. I think that's all. I forgot who's on tomorrow. Sutton Strack and somebody. And then the after show is Pole and Patrick. So that'll be really good too. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure, take 2 seconds, hit the like button right away, make a comment, say anything. Make sure you join our Facebook group, Jeff Lewis Obsessed. That's where we can really get to know each other. Have an amazing day, chumpettes. Bye.